Y'all, what if Ryan Day and Ohio State lose at home to Tennessee? Now, Buckeye fans, I already hear y'all in the comment section. I hear you via the live chat. I understand now. Hey, we picked Ohio State to win that football game, okay? So I think you win. I think it's close, but I think you win. But let's put ourselves in the world of if Ryan Day and Ohio State were to drop that game in Columbus, because I don't think we've all properly calibrated to what the stakes are in that game. If it's me, and this show is us, so I think if Ryan Day loses that game, there will be a new head coach in Columbus, Ohio. Now, that sounds a little bit harsh. In some ways, it might sound hyperbolic, but like any way you slice this, man, optically, from a vibes perspective, I think it's beyond repair. And now, personally, I'm not saying I would fire Ryan Day if they lost this game. I'm not telling you that. But I think the powers that be, regardless of the vote of confidence, regardless of everyone saying the right thing on the front end, it's easy to talk a big game and say you support a guy before something horrific happens in the college football playoff. I don't know that you would feel that way if they lost Tennessee. Again, it's also worth noting now this spread's 7.5 points. Like it's not a situation where it's like, okay, Ohio State's only favored by 1.5 points. Vegas is saying Ohio State should win this game relatively handily for whatever that's worth. Games aren't played on paper, they're played on the field. So just what I said a second ago. If they were to pair the Michigan loss with a first-round loss in the college football playoff, and you stack on top of that 3 other previous losses to Michigan outside of this season, like it would not be broken. It would not be broken, but it would be beyond repair. Because at that point, like there's no other excuse, feels like the wrong word, but it feels like the appropriate one that fits here right now. There's no other excuse you can make for why Ohio State has a better chance to be successful outside of this year. Like, okay, hey, they just got to go hit the portal a little bit harder, tweak a few pieces here and there. It's the quarterback. Y'all, your quarterback just led the country in passing this year. Well, we got to, retool the defense a little bit. All your studs came back. You went out and got the best safety, the best portal player, in my opinion, in Caleb Downs, just because you felt like it. You stocked the running back room with Quinshon Judkins. You got a freak show true freshman, Jeremiah Smith. Like, there is no explaining this. There is no, well, next year we got this. No, there is none of that here. And so, again, I'm not telling you it's the right move, but I think it would be the move that they would arrive at. Here's the other reason I say that. Even if Ohio State doesn't fire Ryan Day, and again, we wouldn't do that. I've said this many times. If I'm Ryan Day, I'm like, dude, forget this. I am out of here. Like, I win 10, 11 games a year, which most coaches would dream of doing that. At a place like Ohio State, I'm winning 10, 11 games a year, and I still can't even order Uber Eats with my name on it because someone's going to spit in my food. I can't go to the grocery store. I can't say this with 100% certainty, but based on what he said in different interviews, Ryan Day's like, this is really hard on my family. My family's taking heat based on how I'm coaching. And again, how I'm coaching is at a really high level. The dude's lost like 10 games his entire time at Ohio State. Like, he's a good football coach. But the job is the job. The brand is the brand. You know what you sign up for. But again, if I'm Ryan Day, I'm like, dude, forget this. I'll go be a coordinator in the NFL. I'll wait for something else to open up where I can go just have a better quality of life and coach at a high level, and the fan base will be fired up about winning 10, 11 games. Like, he's in the college football playoff, and I'm doing a segment right now about how if they lose at home the first round, I don't think he's the head coach anymore. That in itself should tell you about how hostile the current status is in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm not telling you if you're an Ohio State fan, you're wrong for feeling the way that you feel, but I am saying if I'm Ryan Day, I'd be like, thank you, but no thank you. Had a good time, proved I can coach ball. The Michigan thing is the Michigan thing, and I promise he hates it more than anybody. But like at that point in time, I'm like, I forget about this. I am done with this. Can you imagine the ripple effect of Ryan Day taking a coordinator job in the NFL this time next week, potentially, or 2 weeks from now? Can you imagine if we sat here on a Wednesday in late December, early January, and we're talking about who could be in the running for the Ohio State Buckeye head coach job? Like, that in itself, like, people are crawling over broken glass to be the head coach in Columbus. Say what you want about the standards. Say everything I just said about how hard it is. People want this job, okay? Like, I think you take a massive swing. I've said it multiple times. We're getting ahead of ourselves here, but like Marcus Freeman's an Ohio State alum. I get he just got extended. Money is no object for the folks out there in Columbus as proof of this roster. Like, that's another thing, too. What happens to the roster? Again, I'm not telling you I know what would happen, but the transfer portal, whenever a coach leaves, there's a new opportunity for that roster to leave as well. Some really good players on that roster. Some really good players in that quarterback room. Really good player in Caleb Downs who would have more time. Again, we're walking through the steps here of what could be on the table if Ryan Day were to lose this game on Saturday, at home, at night, in front of the entire country, like, I think it would get very, very ugly. I think it would get very, very uncomfortable. And again, I truly believe, should they lose that game, there will be a new head coach in Columbus, Ohio next year. I don't think I'd be for it. It wouldn't be what I would do if I were the powers that be out there. But still, if I'm Ryan Day, I'd say, I'm out of here. I don't want to deal with this. I'm a good football coach. Good luck finding somebody else that's going to routinely do what I'm doing. So I don't know what's going to happen there. Again, we think Ohio State wins the football game in large part because they are so desperate. But, like, golly, man, this is the ripple effect of that game. I don't know that we're all aligned or that we're all totally putting ourselves in the proper spot to what could happen here. Like, that is on the table. And again, I think that would be what happens if that were to be the case.